a faint jingle. That's how it started, a tiny bell, echoing from somewhere inside my apartment, which was impossible. I was alone, and the door was deadbolted. I crept out of my bedroom, heart thudding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. And there it was, under the sad, sparse branches of my little Christmas tree. A new gift had appeared, a small, perfectly wrapped box tied with a scarlet ribbon. My name was scrawled on the tag in elegant, looping script. I glanced back at the door, still locked, solid. My hands trembled as I knelt and picked it up. It felt strangely cold. I tore away the paper. Inside, nestled in black tissue, was a small, tarnished silver bell. It looked ancient, covered in grime and faint scratches. As I turned it over, I saw one word carved crudely into its side. Naughty. A shiver traced its way down my spine, cold and sharp. What kind of sick joke was this? I was about to toss it aside when a noise from the hallway made me freeze. A wet, squelching sound, like someone dragging soaked boots across the carpet. I peered through the peephole. My blood ran cold. Standing there, shrouded in the dim hall light, was a figure. It looked like Santa Claus, but wrong. So horribly wrong. The red suit was tattered and stained with something dark and slick, clinging to a skeletal frame. His beard was a matted, filthy mess, dripping water onto the floor. But his eyes were just black, empty sockets. As primera wa, Ched paralyzed. He slowly raised a skeletal hand, and my doorknob began to twitch. Back and forth, the lock rattled. I stumbled back from the door, a scream trapped in my throat. My gaze fell back to the gift box. The tag, the one with my name on it, was changing. Before my eyes wet, red ink bloomed across the paper, like blood seeping through a bandage. It formed a new name, Mr. Henderson, my neighbor from 3B. A moment later, a blood-curdling scream tore through the building from his apartment, followed by the sickening sound of something heavy being dragged across the floor. Then, silence. The bell felt heavy in my hand, a cold, dead weight. Suddenly, I knew. I knew what this was. My mind flashed back to last Christmas. The snow was coming down in thick, blinding sheets. I was rushing home, laden with shopping bags, eager to get out of the biting wind. A man was huddled in an alleyway, shivering violently. His clothes were thin, soaked through. He looked up at me with desperate eyes, holding out a small, silver bell. "Please," he rasped, his voice barely a whisper. "Ring it. Get help. I can't feel my hands." He tried to ring it himself, but his fingers were too numb. He just coughed, a racking, painful sound. I just stared. I was cold, I was tired, and I didn't want to get involved. I pulled my coat tighter and hurried past, ignoring his pleas. Later that night, on my way to a party, I saw the paramedics. They were covering a body. His body, the little bell, lay forgotten in the snow. On an impulse I still can't explain, I'd pocketed it. I still had it. Or I thought I did. If you're enjoying this tale of holiday horror, please hit that like button and subscribe to Bloody Chapter for more stories that will chill you to the bone. Now, back to the nightmare. The tag on the box was writing again. This time, it was the young couple from 4A, the ones who were always laughing. I clutched the bell, my knuckles white. I had to do something. But what? Another scream, this one higher, more terrified. The dragging sound again, closer this time. The red ink swirled, forming another name, then another. With each name, a new scream, a new silence. The sounds were a macabre symphony of my neighbors being picked off, one by one. The dragging was in the hall again, right outside my door. The doorknob rattled violently. I was trapped, a prisoner in my own home, listening to the consequences of my callousness play out. The scratching started, long, sharp nails dragging down the wood of my door, splintering it. Primitiva skid Hawaii, pressing myself against the far wall, my eyes darting around the room for an escape that didn't exist. My gaze landed under the tree again. Another box. This one was much larger, wrapped in the same paper, tied with the same scarlet ribbon. The tag was bigger, too. On it, in the same elegant handwriting, were 2 words, "Open last," and beneath them, my name. The scratching stopped. The rattling ceased. An unnatural silence fell over the apartment, heavier and more terrifying than the noise. A voice, low and guttural, rasped from the other side of the door. It was a sound like grinding stones and frozen earth. "You will run," it whispered, the words seeping through the wood like a foul miasma. "You rang when you chose not to hear." My legs gave out and I slid to the floor, the tarnished bell clattering from my grasp. The lock on my door clicked open with a soft, final thud. The door creaked open, revealing the dripping, hollow-eyed Santa. He didn't move towards me. He just pointed a single, bony finger at the large gift. Under the tree, my gift. There was no escape. Slowly, on legs that felt like jelly, I crawled towards it. My hands shook so badly I could barely untie the ribbon. I ripped the paper away. It wasn't a box. It was a red suit, tattered, filthy, and still damp. A white beard, matted and stained, lay on top. A sense of horrifying understanding washed over me. This wasn't just a punishment. It was a job opening. The next year, the snow fell in thick, silent blankets. In a small, lonely apartment, a bell rang from somewhere inside. A young woman, alone on Christmas Eve, stared as a new gift appeared under her tree. It was wrapped in black paper, tied with a scarlet ribbon. She picked it up, her hands trembling. On the tag, a name was scrawled in a familiar, looping script. Her name. And as she tore it open to reveal a tarnished silver bell, she never noticed the handwriting on the tag was mine. Thanks for watching.